New Agong takes oath. Pakatan announces electoral pact with Pribumi. Hi, I'm Sohaila Saifuddin and this is Cuppa News. The Sultan of Kelantan, Sultan Muhammad V, took the oath of office as the 15th Yang di-Pertuan Agong in a ceremony steeped in tradition and customs at Istana Negara. The Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, also took the oath of office as the Timbalan Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Sultan Muhammad V succeeds the Sultan of Kedah, Sultan Abdul Halim Muazzam Shah, who completed his reign as the 14th Yang di-Pertuan Agong on Monday. Tuesday's ceremonies at the Balairong Sri or Throne Room began with the 244th special meeting of the Conference of Rulers, held in conjunction with the taking of oath of office and signing of the instruments of office by their majesties. Earlier, His Majesty arrived at the Bunga Raya Complex, KLIA, and was welcomed by the Raja Muda Selangor. He passed by a static honour guard and proceeded in a motorcade to Parliament Square for the ceremonial welcome. His arrival at Parliament Square was welcomed by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak and Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. His Majesty inspected a guard of honour and left for Istana Negara for the taking of the oath of office ceremony. The three parties under Pakatan Harapan and Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia officially agreed on Tuesday to an electoral pact to ensure straight fights against BN in the coming general election. The political cooperation is the first step ahead of the 14th general election.
Are you worried that you might disappoint the voters, the supporters?
We are already a coalition.
We are already working together.
Okay.
Coalition is just a formality, but at the moment we have actually worked together ever since all those years. Now, today we have a new kid on the block. We have Bersatu.
On the block.
I'm not saying that, it's just a matter of it. It's not, I don't think Tantika Mujidin is a new kid on the block. I'm talking about it's a new one.
All four parties also agreed to set up a common technical committee to discuss seat allocations and a common manifesto for GE14. The Court of Appeal has upheld the High Court's decision that Datuk Seri Khairuddin Abu Hassan and his lawyer Matthias Cheng cannot be charged under the Security Offences Special Measures Act 2012 or SOSMA for allegedly attempting to sabotage the banking and financial services. The three-member panel unanimously decided on Tuesday that there was no merit in the prosecution's appeal upholding the decision by the High Court last year. Khairuddin and Cheng were jointly charged under Section 124L of the Penal Code for sabotaging the nation's banking and financial services following reports made against 1MDB with authorities in France, Hong Kong, Singapore, the United Kingdom and Switzerland. Last year, the High Court found that the sabotage charge against Khairuddin and his counsel, Matthias, did not fall under SOSMA. The judge then granted them bail at 10,000 ringgit each with a single surety pending the outcome of their trial in the Sessions Court.
The court also found the view that the Parliament never intended at all for any charge under 124L on banking and financial services to be tried under SOSMA. It should proceed, if any, under the normal criminal procedure code. And they said they were of the unanimous decision that they will not disturb the decision of the High Court. And we shall go back to the Sessions Court in KL for the, tomorrow is it? Tomorrow. For the mention, for the court to give directions on the next step up to the prosecution to do whatever is necessary.
Deputy Public Prosecutor Awang Armadajaya Awang Mahmud said he would brief his superiors on whether to appeal to the federal court. The Malaysian student in Sydney accused of spending 13.8 million ringgit on shopping spree after a banking error gave her access to unlimited funds has pleaded not guilty to fraud charges on Tuesday. Christine Jiazin Lee has been charged with dishonestly obtaining financial advantage by deception and knowingly dealing with the proceeds of crime. The 21-year-old was arrested in May trying to board a flight to Malaysia. Lee, who is a chemical engineering student, allegedly transferred 5,000 Australian dollar per day over a 9-month period in several bank accounts across Australia and spent 220,000 Australian dollar in a single day at a Christian Dior store in Sydney. Lee was given access to the extraordinary amount of funds when Westpac accidentally linked an unlimited overdraw facility to the account she opened in 2012. Former Petro-Saudi international employee Andre Xavier Justo will be among thousands of Thai and foreign prisoners granted a royal pardon by Thailand's new king, King Maha Vajiralongkorn Bodhindra Devarangkun. His lawyer, Warasit Priyawibun, said Justo met the condition for a royal pardon as he had less than 1 year of prison term left. The 49-year-old is serving time in a Thai jail after he was found guilty in August last year for a blackmail attempt linked to 1MDB. He was sentenced to 3 years in jail but had his jail term cut under a royal amnesty in August this year. The Swiss national is expected to be released between 3 and 7 days after the announcement of the royal pardon, which was published in the Royal Gazette on Sunday. Meanwhile, Judge Dale Fisher of the Los Angeles Federal Court rejected a move by family members of Malaysian businessman Low Teck Jo to claim assets seized by the US government in its probe into 1MDB. She said the family members did not have direct control over the assets and were seeking to remove the Swiss trustees which control the assets and who have not filed their own claims. Teck Jo, commonly referred to as Joe Low, is among the people named in civil lawsuits filed in July by the US Department of Justice, which alleged that more than $3.5 billion was misappropriated from the 1MDB fund. The lawsuits seeks to seize $1 billion in assets allegedly siphoned off from 1MDB and diverted into luxury real estate in New York, Beverly Hills and London, valuable paintings and a private jet. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak has denied any wrongdoing and said Malaysia will cooperate in the international investigations. Malaysia and Singapore formalised the Kuala Lumpur-Singapore high-speed rail HSR agreement on Tuesday. The historical moment was witnessed by Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong and Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak in Putrajaya. The deal was signed by Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Dato' Abdul Rahman Dahlan for Malaysia and Singapore Transport Minister Khaw Boon Wan. Dubbed a game-changer by leaders of both countries, the HSR will take travellers from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur in 90 minutes, with operations targeted to begin by December 31st, 2026, with construction beginning in 2018. The 350-kilometre double-track rail line with speeds of over 300 km per hour will have 8 stations: Bandar Malaysia, Putrajaya, Seremban, Air Keroh, Muar, Batu Pahat, Iskandar Puteri and Singapore. The HSR line will have one terminus in New Township of Bandar Malaysia at the edge of Kuala Lumpur, with another at the upcoming Jurong Lake District in the west of Singapore. In other news, a tearful Jakarta governor defended himself by reiterating that he did not intend to insult the Quran during his blasphemy trial on Tuesday. Governor Basuki Tjahajapurnama, an ethnic Chinese Christian, said he did not intend any insult when he made comments about his election opponent's use of the Quran.
Saya sangat sedih. Saya dituduh menista agama Islam. Karena tuduhan itu sama saja dengan mengatakan saya menista orang tua angkat dan saudara-saudara angkat saya sendiri yang sangat saya sayangi.
The hearing had been adjourned to next Tuesday for the prosecution to respond to his submissions. Basuki had been under fire after a video of him allegedly telling constituents not to be duped by his opponents who had referred to a verse in the Quran to stop Muslims from voting for non-Muslim leaders in September went viral. Basuki had apologized for his remarks, but police went ahead with investigations in a bid to defuse tensions. Cyclone Varda wreaks havoc after it barreled into the southeast coast of India, killing at least 10 people. Thousands of people had to be evacuated as the cyclone battered the Bay of Bengal before hitting Tamil Nadu's capital, Chennai, as well as its neighbour, Andhra Pradesh.
In Tamil Nadu, we have deployed 7 teams. So all 6 teams are deployed in this Andhra Pradesh area. And our 2 teams is deployed in Solurpeta because it is very crucial. That's we are deployed here. And we are completely in standby position and we are completely in condition to handle the situation.
Strong winds of up to 140 km per hour pummeled the densely populated coast, uprooting trees which led to electricity disruptions. India's cyclone season usually runs from April to December, with storms often causing dozens of deaths, mass evacuations and widespread damage to crops and property. Wisconsin's Election Commission announced it has completed its recount of its votes in the US presidential election. Officials said that Republican Donald Trump's margin of victory had decreased by just a handful of votes. The final tally will be released when the vote is certified.
It is my understanding that we found no evidence of any hack in terms of our computer infrastructure system. There was no evidence that the numbers reported had anything to do with a hack of our technology.
The recount began December 1st after Green Party candidate Jill Stein suggested that voting machines in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania and Michigan could have been hacked. Officials said that no widespread or significant problems with voting have been discovered during the recount. That's all from me and Cuppa News team. Good night.